Hello, everybody. Episode 3. Tank just wanted to welcome you all as well, apparently. My name is Jessie B, aka Princess Skywalker. You can find me on X at Jess Skywalker 10. Please like and sub. My guest this week is EL the Prince. So we've got the Prince and the Princess here to go over this week's Wrestlemania and everything. Go ahead and introduce yourself there.
Ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages, you got the Prince in the house. Pleasure to be here on your show, Princess Skywalker. Known you a long time. Excited to talk about some great wrestling stuff. Been a wrestling fan for, God, ever since I had peach fuzz on my chinny chin. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, for those that don't know, we have known each other for over 20 years. We went to high school together. So there's a lot of history here. Actually, one of the last wrestling events I went to was actually with him. So we got to see The Rock for $5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was awesome.
That was hella awesome.
That was awesome. Shut up, Tank. Nobody wants to hear your nonsense. All right. Well, you want to go ahead and get into it?
Man.
Start with WrestleMania?
Dude, I mean, where to begin? I mean, every single title changed hands except for two of them.
Except for two,
yeah. Mommy kept her title, Rhea Ripley of Judgment Day, and
Logan Paul.
Yeah, and Logan Paul. Yeah, that prick.
Logan Paul kept his title too.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but
I had a feeling that was going to happen though.
Yeah.
I got 11 out of 13 predictions right, so
11 out of 13. All right, well, yeah. Princess, what were the two that you didn't get correct?
The two that I didn't get right was the tag team 6-pack challenge. I thought that Judgment Day was going to retain. And then my other one was Seth Rollins. I thought Seth Rollins was going to win. So I didn't expect Drew McIntyre to win. And then I definitely, after thinking about it, it made a lot of sense that Drew McIntyre, that Damian cashed in, because it was the last night he could possibly cash in. So he really had no other choice but to cash it in. So wasn't too bad. So we'll start with night one.
Yes.
Just go ahead and start there.
Yeah.
It opened with Triple H coming out, introducing everybody to WrestleMania, to the new era. This happened to have been Michael Cole's 23rd WrestleMania that he called.
Man.
So great for Michael Cole. He's been a huge figure ever since back when he was getting bullied by DX in the locker room. So
I was going to say,
remember that?
I remember The Rock putting T-shirts on his head and him speaking in the mic with a T-shirt over his head and stuff like that. So I remember those days like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, I remember DX throwing him in the shower in the middle of an interview one time. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
long time ago. Gosh, that was 27 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Long time ago. So we opened with the women's title match with Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. It was a badass entrance for Rhea. That was really cool. The lead singer was a little scary, but it was definitely a cool entrance for her. It made a big deal for her. Love the extensions. I'm just going to say the extensions look amazing. She looks fantastic with long hair.
She does.
So fucking good with that. We learned that Becky was sick all week with strep. She was coming in with 102 fever.
Yeah.
So she was super sick. Really good back and forth during that match, though. There was a lot of, it wasn't really one-sided one way or another. They had a good balance of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of attempts for the disarmor.
Yeah.
A lot of that. Let's see. Rhea ended up hitting Becky with 3 power bombs at one point. Becky still kicked out. Becky hit the manhandle slam. Rhea kicked out. The Riptide. Another kick out.
Yep.
Rhea powered out of the disarm her. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. The frog splash by Rhea.
Nice move.
That was a nice move by her. Yeah. Especially since you don't really see her do a whole lot of high flying action. So
yeah.
It was definitely cool.
Yeah, her getting up there on the ropes is I mean, she's it was a nice move. It's not her specialty, but hey, it's WrestleMania. I mean,
it's WrestleMania. You got to pull it all out. So eventually Rhea gets a couple of riptides in and she ends up retaining. So I actually thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
The only reason I could have seen Rhea losing is if it was time for her and Buddy to go get married. And giving her an excuse to be off TV for a little while. But she ended up winning, which is what I thought. Yeah. Becky didn't need it.
No.
To win.
No. That whole matchup, watching Raw over the last few weeks, I never really felt like Becky was in a huge threat to overtake Rhea. It just, the buildup didn't convince me that, okay, man, Becky is like at the top. Going to be, I mean, toward the end, there were a couple remarks by Rhea about her daughter and stuff like that. It kind of got a little fired up, but I never thought that Rhea's title was in jeopardy. Great match though, but that was one of those matches to where I expected Mommy to be on top. I mean, it just was calling how I see it.
So did I. Becky was really distracted throughout the whole feud leading up to WrestleMania. She was doing everything else, worrying about Nia Jax, everybody else but Rhea. So there wasn't a lot of build up to it. But it ended up being a pretty good match, all in all, especially with Becky being sick. Yeah. So it ended up being pretty good, considering Becky was sick the whole time.
Yeah, gotta tip your hat off to her competing and at the highest level for sure.
Yeah, so that was a great match. Then there was a 6-pack tag team ladder match with all those freaking teams.
Yeah, I know, right?
There was a lot of them. I did not expect Theory and Waller to win one of the belts.
No.
That was definitely a surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming at all. Because they have been on a losing streak.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a big one.
Well, Waller's been setting poor Theory up the last few weeks. Like, dude, we're supposed to be a team. And he keeps setting him up for these impromptu matches over the last several weeks. But one thing I noticed when that match started, both titles were on 2 different hangers, kind of spread out. And that when I watched that, I was like, for some reason, I've never seen that in the past. And so I'm like, why are they're supposed to be the undisputed tag team champions? Why are they on 2 separate hangers? And so I started paying attention to that because I thought that placement was kind of interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of nice though that they split it up.
Oh yeah.
So that they have more opportunities for the tag team division in itself.
Yeah.
To, do what they got to do and get some stuff going there. JD McDonough, the bobblehead, ended up getting involved, tried to drag Finn up the ladder. This was after Theory and Waller already won the SmackDown belts.
Oh.
Truth takes out Priest with an AA.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. And R-Truth won the tag team championship for him and R-Truth, which, yes, bravo, chef's kiss. So happy that he finally got his WrestleMania moment. Yes, they're a silly tag team. Yes, it's goofy. But you know what? R-Truth deserved that moment finally. And I can't lie, I got a little teary-eye for him.
He did deserve it. Truth's been in the game for so long, and to finally get his WrestleMania moment was and like I said, awesome. Truth. I mean, you just can't take them seriously. But tag teams like that are needed in WWE. It just gives it some fun, and they're good characters. And you can say what you want about Miz, but the longevity that he and Truth have had over their entire careers is something to be applauded. But they just go together. They just work.
They do.
I'm all for it. Awesome.
Oh,
Truth.
yeah. I'm okay with it. It gives it a little bit of fun, and I love seeing R-Truth in the spotlight a little bit more. So I don't think they'll take the titles for long. I don't think that they'll be tag team champions for a long time. But the fact that he got to have his WrestleMania moment was pretty awesome. So pretty happy with that one. Then we had Rey and Andrade versus Santos and Dominic, which was kind of a pointless match, honestly. They should have saved Rey and Santos for WrestleMania and just kept it as the two of them. But I guess it gave Andrade a WrestleMania moment. So kind of worked out for him. There was a lot going on in this match. It was very hard to pay attention to. My ADHD was all over the place. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like everybody is all over the place. It's getting a little crazy. Tank's about to bark again, guys. So I apologize because there's something moving outside. So apparently he's got to, show who's boss. So Andrade and Rey won that match, which I figured that was going to happen in the first place. Tank, shut up. They're just people. Hey, they're not bugging you. Stop. But the fact that it was won with Jason Kelsey was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
That they found a way to get Jason Kelsey involved in the match, being in Philly and everything. Tank wants to say hi to everybody. Tank's having his moment here in the spotlight.
Yeah, it's I remember Gronk got involved in a match several years ago. Shaq was involved even longer than that. So having a hometown Philly crowd to be a hometown Philly team celebrity be involved is pretty cool. And Jason just retired, pretty emotional after losing. His brother won the title, so it was a good moment for him to get those guys involved. But that I kind of agree with you, like that it should just been like a one-on-one match, but I think that it might be a setup for another turn inside the group, like
Andrade.
Like in weeks past, like it was always Rey and Carlito. I mean, they were like right there, like in the first feud, and now Carlito's kind of taking a back seat. Now that Andrade's kind of taking over, and so I'm thinking it's setting up something to where Carlito's going to turn and maybe he's going to get involved in the storyline somewhere down the road, because he played good team player, but him not getting to be able to substitute for Dragon Lee getting taken out, I think is in the back of his mind, like, wait a minute, this is Santos Escobar that was part of LWO at first. Like, he was right there side by side, and then Carlito came in, he started getting jealous, and they turned and then recreated Legado del Fantasma. And so I think we're going to have a repeat of that down the road. But it was an okay match, but there was a lot going on for sure. There was
a lot going on, and it was just like too much. I got a little distracted, like I said. ADHD brain went a little crazy. Got a little bit distracted here. I'm gonna turn this way a little bit because like half my face is dark because of the light. There we go. That's better lighting. Okay. Then we had the brother versus brother match, which I honestly have to say I was disappointed in. It was not as good as I expected it to be.
I wanted a little bit more drama. It left a little bit more to be desired. To be honest with you, like that hype coming in should have been. I mean, I agree with you. I expected a lot more drama, not necessarily interference or stuff like that. Maybe the match could have been a little bit longer, a little bit more dramatic. I mean, there's a little bit in there where Jimmy tried to pull him back in, like I'm sorry, and then getting a cheap kick on Jay, but that match should have definitely had a little bit more sauce to it than what we got, especially given the build up, all the history of the bloodline storyline for however many years now. That match should have been a lot more of a spectacle than it was, for sure.
For sure. I definitely think it should have been. Think it should have been longer. It felt rushed.
Yeah.
I took the dogs out really quick, and when I came back in, it was over. Yeah. So, like, I caught the beginning of it, and then these two had to go out, and I was the only one home, so it is what it is. And then I forgot to pause it, so whatever. Came back in, and it was over, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, that was so short. I was like, I was only outside for like 3 minutes, and I came back in, and it was already over. Isaiah, I totally agree with you. It was probably one of the worst matches of WrestleMania. And I definitely expected it to be much, much better.
Yeah. I mean, so all that build up. And then we get like a 5-minute match is what it felt like. And I'm like, wait a minute. All those years, blood, sweat, and tears, even going before that. I mean, the Usos come in with their faces painted and stuff like that. And then that's what we got. I'm like, it was like,
it was lackluster.
Yeah, it really was. I'm like, I expected like a 5-star meal, and I got like some like microwave French fries from last week and a couple chicken nuggets. I'm like, what is this? Like,
right, exactly. It's like that's a great analogy. You would have expected it to be a lot better, like a lot better. Yeah. Then you had the 6-woman tag match with Jade, Bianca, and Naomi versus Damage Control. I mean, I think going into this match, we already knew who was going to win because they're not going to come in and package Jade and let her lose her first match at WrestleMania. There's no fucking way.
No, absolutely not.
There was no way.
No.
It was fantastic seeing the three of them together. Their entrance was great. Yeah. They make a great stable. I don't think it's going to continue because I think there's going to end up being tension between Jade and Bianca at some point. Just because I think everybody wants to see that match. Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. 2 women of power. I mean, they're both so strong.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to see them go at it. So
that's got main event written all over it. I think what will probably happen, well, I mean, a good storyline would be, I mean, Jade's coming in. She's not coming in to like be tag team champions or just kind of fit in. She's like, hey, I'm coming to take over. So she's going to have her eyes on gold at some point. And Bianca, too, she's been out of the title picture for a bit because Damage Control was always getting involved. So that's probably where I can see that crossroads coming in. And Naomi's just going to be there to try to defuse the situation. But those two, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, are going to, I mean, they're just so, they're stars. And they're going to be like bulls going at it and be like, we're going to have to settle this. And so I can see something like that happening, but that's got SummerSlam main event written all over it or Future Mania. Those two ladies need to be in a match together at some point for sure.
Definitely do. But that was a good match. I mean, for what it was a predictable match. Knew what it was going to be. We already knew they were going to win. Each one of the ladies hit their finisher. Jade got the pin. Which, no surprise. Yeah. Like I said, they've packaged her as a star. They have to continue building her as a star, or else what's the point? She looked like she's improved a little bit, but the match she didn't wrestle very much in the match. So it's really hard to say how much she's improved since leaving AEW. because we didn't get to see it very much. Did she not have talent in AEW? I'm not saying that at all. She was very talented when she was in AEW, but she had a very small skill set of moves that she would do.
I was going to ask you that because I'm glad you brought that up, because I remember when she was on her streak in AEW, and I had heard rumblings, not obviously like 100%, but rumblings like Goldberg comparisons a little bit, like limited skill set, just kind of dominant. I saw more charisma and more about her than Goldberg, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I remember Jay like on her streak and holding that title for so long in AEW, and I kind of trailed off, gotten back into the WWE with this bloodline storyline, all that type of stuff. So it's been a small sample size, but did you see some, from what you have seen, like, okay, maybe she's been working, maybe some tweaks to where she can maybe all be on the rise from a talent
to be determined. To be determined. Just because you got to see more. I want to see more of a skill set. I want to see longer matches. I don't want to see squash matches. I want to see actual lengthy matches where we can see a skill set of some sort with her that's not just very limited. But comparing her to Goldberg is a good comparison just because the skill set was so limited with what she would do. I mean, she had like the boot and the jaded. So we'll see how they package her. I mean, they've got to push her to the moon considering everything that they've put into her. Everything that they've put into her so far, making her be into this big star. I'm honestly surprised she's not on Raw and that they put her on SmackDown. But to be determined with her, really.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, if you put her in a program with Bianca, she'll help push her to, like, I mean, you can't just be, stale 3 moves with Bianca Belair. I mean, the athleticism that she's got, so that'll benefit her to be in a program with someone like that, because she'll push her to the limits and be able to maybe maximize some of that potential. That's my hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that, like I said, I think it was Travis on my show, like he said, don't really want it to come at the expense of Bianca, but that could very well be the direction that they're going. Because Bianca's a little bit more seasoned. She's had her moment. She had her long title run. Now it's time to give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The next match that they had was the Intercontinental title match with Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Good match. Really good match. I didn't take a ton of notes on that one. I don't know what I was doing at the time. It was towards the end. ADHD had kicked in, so I think I was probably on TikTok or doing something else at the time. Not to knock Sami Zayn, but I've never been a gigantic Sami Zayn fan. So it didn't really draw me into the match like other matches did. I did pick Sami Zayn to win, and he did. So I thought that it was really important for Sami to get that win. At this moment, he needed it. I think Gunther is going to get pushed into the world title or the heavyweight title, the championship, more now that he's not the Intercontinental champion. So I think that's what's going to happen is he's going to get pushed towards the championship now.
Yeah.
In 666 days, I mean, medal, but Yeah,
that match, I didn't have Sami winning that one. I didn't think that. I don't know. Like you, I've never been a huge Sami Zayn fan. Great talent and all that. But I just have never been like, oh man, Sami is like to the moon. I just never felt like that about Sami. But great, that match was fantastic. I mean, it was back and forth, and those guys were giving it to each other for sure. It was an all-out war. So as far as the match is concerned, that was probably one of the better matches in the entire weekend. as far as the brutality and stuff like that. But for some reason, I just felt like, I just couldn't see Gunther losing it then. But great moment for Sammy, especially to be able to do it on his own. I mean, last WrestleMania, he was there with Kevin Owens. They won the tag titles. So that was a big moment. And obviously they had their storyline of going back and forth, even going back to their NXT days. So that was huge. But this one, like you said, Sammy needed this one. And it was huge. So I'm happy with the match and happy with the outcome. Definitely didn't have Sammy winning. I still thought Gunther's still going to ride this out and his streak was going to continue. But, man, all things must come to an end.
Yeah, I mean, lots of streaks came to an end this weekend, but yeah, Maddie, that's exactly it. We can't really, to digress a little bit, we can't judge WWE Jade yet. We haven't seen enough. But no, that match was fantastic. Sami Zayn, he's a good wrestler and he puts on good matches. But like you said, I never saw the draw or the ooh, Sami Zayn, he's so amazing. Like, I've never gotten that from him before. Does he put on bangers? Yes. Is he a fan favorite? Absolutely. Do I see it?
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson or whatever the hell, Bryan Danielson, whatever he goes by now. Yeah. That's how I've always felt about him too, is everybody loves him. And I'm just like, meh.
Yeah.
But we'll get to AEW a little bit more towards the end. We'll get through WrestleMania and Raw first, and then we'll come back to AEW. Because I know you're not a huge AEW watcher. So it's so funny because
I pay attention though.
It's so funny too, because like all my guests so far have been non-really AEW watchers. And that's what I like better is AEW. And so it's just kind of funny that thus far I haven't really had any AEW watchers on the show yet. And they've all been primarily WWE related shows, but it's WrestleMania season. So it's kind of like, I mean,
it's the season.
I mean, tis the season for WrestleMania.
The season.
Yep. Top rope squishy. Totally agree with you. Bryan Danielson is blood, and Will Ospreay is chef's kiss. Will Ospreay is he is absolutely amazing. Back to WrestleMania. We'll get to AEW in a minute. Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody. Knew it was going to end the way it did. Definitely knew Rock and Roman were winning. We knew they were stacking that deck against Cody. It was a good match. For what it was long. It was very long.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Uso match not having the drama? That Roman, Rock, and Cody Seth. I mean, all the drama. They could have taken some of that and put it in the Jimmy J match a little bit to spread it out more evenly.
To spread out the bloodline. Yeah, it had all the drama, all the big moves, the you got the rock bottom, the people's elbow, the Rock getting the pin. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it made sense in the storyline and how bad the Rock has been beating down Cody Rhodes for the Rock to take the pin. It just made sense. So it ended up being Bloodline rules the next night. And I'm kind of wondering if Seth Rollins legitimately hurt his knee worse in that match. We'll get to that. He injured his knee again at some point because he was limping out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who was helping him out of the ring, but somebody was Kevin Owens, I think, was helping him to the back at the very, very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, then we had night 2. Night 2, we had the Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre match. Drew McIntyre had control.
Dude, Claymore to start the match out of the gate. I was like, oh shit. I mean, Drew's wanting this. I mean, Claymore out of the gate. I'm like, oh, Seth's in trouble. But I know Seth's banged up. His eye was he had a black eye too. He took a nice boot to the face too. So and don't forget about that back that he's been battling too. So Seth definitely needs to heal for sure. That match was even though that match was quick too, like the Jimmy versus Jay, but that actually was a little bit more dramatic to me.
There was a lot of build.
The way that Drew came out of the gate, Claymore, I'm like, oh man, oh shit, like this might end quick. Now Seth was able to rally a little bit, but that was pretty dramatic. But of course, can't forget about the elephant in the room, Mr. Punk sitting there on commentary. That added another element to it, which I mean, I've never been a huge Punk fan, especially after he left WWE 10 plus years ago. I've listened to blogs and hear what all he's had to say. So there's a part of me that feels like how Seth has felt over the years, but that was entertaining. And CM Punk getting involved was, I mean, it made for good TV, so I'm not going to argue with that part.
The hardest part for me during that match was listening to his mouth on commentary. I don't like Phil. And yes, I'm using his damn government name. I don't give a shit. I'm using his government name. I do not like Phil Brooks at all. Don't like that guy. He's nothing but drama. He's nothing but trouble.
He is.
It's only a matter of time before his issues follow him to the WWE. So yes, Drew McIntyre, if you ever see this, I am using his damn government name, okay? I know you just came out with that don't use their government names, but I can't stand Fragile Philly Brooks.
Wow.
Fragile Phil.
Fragile Phil, I love it.
Fragile Phil. Just like Top Rope Squishy said, Punk is Mr. Glass. He is broken. He can't wrestle a match without getting injured. His ego is so damn fragile that he can't handle a kid saying to him, "That's real glass, cry me a river."
That's true. That's true.
I can't wait to see that footage. But we'll talk about that when we get to AEW. So that match, Drew McIntyre wins that match, gets his moment with his wife, crawls on the desk, all sort of like sexual-like towards CM Punk. And CM Punk with the swerve and beats his ass. And then as soon as that happened, I knew that Damian Priest was about to come out and cash in.
Great cash in, by the way, by Priest. It's not the heist of the century that Rollins had back when Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar were in their bout, but like smart cashing. I mean, it was clever and great timing by Damian Priest, and Priest deserves it.
Absolutely, Priest does deserve it. He's come a long way. Priest is very, very talented. I see little sprinkles of the new Judgment Day breaking up. So it would be nice to see him kind of go off and do his own thing rather than having the Judgment Day behind him. So that would be nice. But it was also sad for Drew, too. It was his, like Top Rope Squishy said, it was his first freaking title win in front of a live crowd. And he gets fucked over.
Yeah.
Super fast in 5 minutes. Like, so hang on, husband is texting me. Okay, he's actually letting me know he's gonna be late. I am shocked and chagrined.
Gotta keep the wife informed, so good job.
To quote Jackie Childs from Seinfeld, I am shocked and chagrined.
Yeah.
I fucking love Seinfeld. We've watched Seinfeld, the series, all the way through probably 6 times in the last 2 months. Just because we put it on in the background and I just let it go while I'm working throughout the day because I don't have to pay attention to it. And then we watch it at night because we don't actually pay attention to the TV. And so it just plays over and over again. I freaking love that show. That show's so funny. You know who got me hooked on that show? And I can't remember his fucking name, but do you remember the computer teacher at Smoky Hill that was like up in the back corner and where all the IBM computers were? He was a real tall dude. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. But he used to play Seinfeld in class.
God, that rings a bell. Did he have glasses?
I can't remember. He was a tall blonde dude, but I can't remember if he had glasses or not. So, sorry guys, digress back to high school. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we have literally known each other for like 25 years. Yeah. So, we've known each other a very, very long time. Went to the same high school together. We've hung out. We go to dinner every so often, which we need to do, by the way.
Yes.
Because it's been forever since we've done that. So, we just have a lot of history. Yes. Storms, that's a good question. Does Drew stay or does he go? Now, the only reason I think that he might stay is because they're going to Glasgow for one of their pay-per-views. And they could end up having him headline that and winning back the title in Glasgow.
Yep.
That's the only thing I could see making sense if he stays, is giving him his moment at home.
Yeah. Clash of the Castle, I believe, is going to go back to homeland. So I would think he would stay. Him taking on this heel persona, he's been done very well in this role. He's got a lot of unfinished business. Plus, good old Philly, he's got to come back from his injury, and that's a nice program there too. So Drew's got so much going on in WWE. It'd be hard for me to see him leave. Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins all have contracts set to expire soon. So be interesting to see about. I don't see any of those three leaving, but something to keep your eye on for sure.
I definitely don't see Becky or Seth leaving. I think when they stop wrestling, it's going to be with the WWE, especially Becky. I don't really see her going anywhere else. If she did, I would be really surprised. I would be really, really surprised to see her end up anywhere else. With her new book, which is phenomenal, by the way, absolutely phenomenal. I got it on audiobook and I'm listening to it in her own words because she narrates it.
Oh, nice.
Fucking phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I'm like halfway through it. I just haven't had a chance to finish it. But from what I've gotten so far of it, it's absolutely phenomenal. I did not know that her and Finn Balor were a thing. Back when she was like 16, 17, 18, her and Finn Balor were a thing. Did not know that. So that was a cool thing to learn. So bye, Maddie. So I digress as usual, though. That ADHD brain grabs ideas and gets jumping me all over the place. So
I love
that's okay though. So Snoop Dogg was introduced as the guest announcer for the next match, which was the Philadelphia Street Fight. And then they had fucking jackass has-been come out as the referee. But he's not biased.
Of course not.
Fucking biggest goddamn eye roll. I even have Bubba Ray guest referee eye roll. I literally wrote that in my notes. Eye roll. That says it on my notes.
I am not surprised.
Bubba Ray guest referee eye roll.
I am not surprised. But hey, remember, it's Philly. Paul Heyman got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mean, you had Jason Kelsey,
the
former Philadelphia Eagle
ECW.
there. Yeah, it's like, okay, anything goes. Have Bubba Ray in there.
It made sense. It
was
made
the nostalgia.
sense.
It was one of the nostalgia moves. Like, all right, well, where can we input some nostalgia? Okay, Bubba Ray, bam, there you go. Here's your 15 seconds. Take it.
Yeah, here's your 15 seconds. You can get your little moment back, but no, you're not biased.
Of course not.
Idiot. So anyways, so that match was pretty decent. A lot going on. Hard for me to pay attention. Because there was just a lot going on. Scarlett and BFAB got involved, even though they weren't in the match, and they ended up going through a table. So kudos to those ladies. The match, all in all, I agree with Storms, wasn't great.
No.
It was a gimmick match.
Yeah.
When they get the tables and then the was up and it was a gimmick match. It was there. It was a filler. It wasn't really. There was no fucking purpose to that match. Like, who does it benefit? And then they just buried the final testament even more. So
something Karrion Kross has been used to throughout his career when he's moved up to the main roster. He wasn't like that in NXT. He was actually a force to be reckoned with then. Then he got called up to the main roster, and he's pretty much been
ass.
That match was awful. That was one of my least favorite matches. And I loved the Almighty, Colorado Zone, Bobby Lashley. Love my boys, the Street Profits. But that match was awful. The build up to that match wasn't all that great either. That actually kind of felt rushed. It's like, okay, we got this faction. Well, Karrion Kross, this is like our 5th time with you in the main roster. So here's what we're going to do. Go at it, and then we'll put something together. It wasn't well. I mean, the drama and the effort and the experience and all those other storylines made sense. Like even Sami Zayn and Gunther, like, okay, you kind of see that he had, Chad Gable in the background, so it all made sense. This one was just like you said, it was like, well, we need a filler. So U3 versus U3, we'll bring in the nostalgia act. We'll have Snoop Dogg, and I mean, we'll just have at it. So it felt and looked exactly like that. So
it did.
I can't criticize overly because they're like, we need to fill in. That's exactly what it was. But I could have thought of something else to put in that slot, or again, I don't know. There's a lot of different things they could have done. I mean, Jimmy and Jay could have been in that slot and given them more time, and given us a greater quality match, and added more to that story. So that's my thoughts on that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. It wasn't my favorite. It was gimmicky. It was just, it felt like it was more to throw something in there that was attached to an extreme match, like you said, because of Paul Heyman. So it was something to give it that ECW feel. And that's why they brought Dumbass out there and had him do his thing. So
you're right.
I like Devon. I don't like Bubba Ray. And it's not totally because of his takes towards AEW. Like, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, whatever. It's more of, it's so fucking one-sided and so goddamn biased that it's just like, bro, just like, we get it. Tony Khan didn't offer you a job. Like, you're pissed off, you're bitter. You're like Eric fucking Bischoff at this point, where you're just pissed off at the world because other people are successful and you're a fucking loser. And Bubba Ray, I'm not saying he's not successful. He's very successful. He is a very successful person. He had his day. He's got his cast. I don't agree with the shit that comes out of his mouth, though. So it is what it is.
It's a good comparison to Eric Bischoff, though. Being pissed off at the world. That's a good comparison with getting Bischoff in there. I agree.
Fucking Bischoff. That guy's such a has-been fucking loser. He's just absolutely ridiculous. LA Knight versus AJ Styles was a decent match. I don't know, like, DJ Storm said, I don't know if it was necessarily WrestleMania worthy. I have to agree with him, and I hate having to agree with him. Especially admitting I agree with him, because then I'm going to hear it from him that I agreed with him. So, but no, I don't think it was WrestleMania worthy. It was very thrown together. LA Knight should have been in a title picture of some sort at WrestleMania. Definitely shouldn't have just been in a filler match. I think the match belonged on night one. In my opinion, I think they should save the bigger matches for night two.
Yeah.
And just, if you're going to do filler shit, get it over with on the first night, or put it all back into one show. The right move is not always to agree with you, Storms. We'll just throw that one out there now. I will not validate that comment, god damn it. But it doesn't, it just was meh. And you know how I feel about AJ Styles. You know how I've always felt about Soccer Mom. You know, I like LA Knight, and I just think he deserved better.
Yeah.
And it could have been a better quality.
He had good momentum. He had such good momentum. And then it got derailed, and it seems like now I just felt like WWE was like, oh crap, like how do we got to do something with him. But like he was on a hot rise, and then he lost, and then they're like, well, what do we do from here? Like after he lost to Roman Reigns, it's like, oh well, shit, what do we do from here? And so it did feel like it was put together when they were at Elimination Chamber, and AJ Styles got involved. That's what just like, okay, we got to have both you two talents at WrestleMania somehow. So AJ Styles, here's what's going to happen. So he attacks LA Knight, costs him a championship opportunity there at Elimination Chamber. So now they're going back and forth, and LA Knight goes to his house and all that type of stuff. So it was starting to get there, but they did it in like 3 weeks. And so then WrestleMania is here, and it's like, all right, now you two are fighting each other. So I think on paper, when you see LA Knight, and AJ Styles together, that'd be a match I'd see. But the build-up was like only 3 weeks, 4 weeks in the making or so, which made it too quick. And then the match was So you draw it out a little bit more, give a little bit more, story in there. I think it could have turned out to be something better, but it was just kind of rushed. And we can't have the phenomenal AJ Styles on at WrestleMania. And LA Knight, you're still hot, so let's get you guys in the match. And so it just wasn't all that well executed. But it could have been a little bit better than what it was. But all in all, like you said, it was just meh. It was better. It was better than that Philly street fight match though, but not by much.
Yeah, not by much. And there was a lot of WrestleMania matches that were just kind of thrown together, it seemed. There wasn't a lot of build. There wasn't a lot of hype. It wasn't until like the last 2 episodes before WrestleMania that they actually promoted anything or, did anything to build. There wasn't a lot of build. The Rock took it all. The Rock took everything and it was just all about The Rock. And the United States Championship match was decent. We already knew whoever was in the Prime bottle was getting involved. I think we just fucking knew that. I called Logan Paul winning this match on my prediction show. I knew he was going to do something underhanded to win it, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
I think with Prime being the sponsor for WrestleMania, or one of the sponsors for WrestleMania, I don't think they could have let him lose. Just because they're the sponsor and he's the owner. So I just didn't see how that was going to happen. Great match, though. I mean, Logan Paul, for the dumbass that he is, puts on a hell of a wrestling match. I mean, he puts on great matches. So you can't take that away from the kid.
Yeah. You're right. I mean,
So
I hate to, I hate to agree with that last statement there, Princess. But I mean, you can't deny his talent. He's picked it up very well and has done very well in the ring. He's just, I can't stand either of the Pauls. They make me sick. They're in the
yeah,
spotlight for no reason. And they got such big mouths. And to talk about ego, like both the Pauls make me sick. But if we're focusing on in the ring talent, he's undeniable. He's got it, and you got to tip your hat off to him for it. He's worked his ass off to be the type of talent he is. He's picked it up very well. He's done a good job in the ring, so he's exciting to watch inside the ring. But he's one of the fucking Pauls, man. I just refuse to give those
yeah,
guys any of their flowers. But it was a good match overall. Had a lot of both sides. I knew that Logan Paul was probably going to win too, just because Randy Orton and Kevin Owens were playing buddy buddy for the last few weeks, which isn't like Randy Orton. So you knew that at some point that might come into play, and Logan Paul with his underhanded tactics was going to kind of come out on top, and that's exactly what happened. So I knew it was coming, but it still was an entertaining match, and everyone hit some good moves and stuff like Randy hit a great RKO out of nowhere as only Randy Orton can
yep,
do. But like you said, you knew he was probably gonna win, but it was definitely entertaining
yeah.
for sure.
It was definitely entertaining. It was a good match. But yeah, we knew Logan Paul was going to win that match, or at least most of them did. Um, Women's title match versus Bailey and Io Sky. That was a really good match. There was a lot of back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked that Damage Control didn't get more involved in that match. Um, just because that's how they had been setting it up for so long that, Io couldn't win without Damage Control. So,
Mm-hmm.
and Bailey, I don't know. I thought she was going to win from the very beginning. She's getting her moment. Um, I didn't see it coming. Even though I predicted her to win, I didn't really see the veteran beating the up and comer. So that was a good thing. But Bailey deserves it. She deserves at least one more title run. Um, and as a face this time.
Yeah.
Again, now that she's a face again.
Mm-hmm.
So, all in all, it was a good match. Again, this was getting towards the end. My notes are super short, so it was getting towards the end of WrestleMania, so I was getting kind of bored. Yeah, I guess you could say. Um, and then we had the Universal Championship match versus Cody versus Roman Reigns.
Man,
It was a great match.
well, it was.
It was a great match. Fantastic. I mean, they took it out into the crowd. I mean, I have a page and a half worth of notes on that one.
Ah,
Um, so I was really paying attention to that one. Um, Cody was going to put Roman through the announce table, but was low blowed by Roman. Cody ended up going through announce table. There was a Superman punch, a Cody cutter. Jimmy Uso came out with the super kick after the Cody cutter
mm-hmm.
and saved the Roman.
Yep.
Jey Uso came out with a spear off the stage to Jimmy, so that was nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was really cool.
That was.
Cody speared Roman through the barricade, so that was a
Yep,
nice payback.
that was. Didn't expect that one.
Uh,
That was the move.
yeah, that was really nice to see. Solo with the Samoan spike. Cody kicked out. Spear and Samoa spike simultaneously. Cody kicked out of that.
Yeah.
Um, that's when cue the music. The Doctor of Thugonomics comes out. And that made sense because the last person that John Cena fought was Solo Sikoa. So
Yep.
that really made sense for him to come out with Solo Sikoa, take out Solo. Then you have The Rock came out face to face with Cena. They get ready to go at it. Rock bottom to Cena.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the Shield music hits.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone's sitting there going, what the fuck? Like, there's only one possible person that this could be. Like, That's what I was sitting there saying. I'm like, it can only be Seth Rollins. Like, I'm like, it can't be anybody else. If they're not going to let Dustin Rhodes be there for his brother's moment, they're not going to fucking bring in Jon Moxley, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
So
I didn't expect to hear the Shield music though.
He freaking shows up.
Well, Seth already had his He already had his moment and all that. So I thought like, okay, I lost, or Cody and I lost to Rock and Roman Reigns on night one. I just lost to Drew McIntyre. I didn't expect to see Seth ever again. So I didn't expect that. When I heard that Shield music, I'm like, what? Like you said, I knew it wasn't going to be Jon Moxley coming.
But he did tell. But he did tell Cody that he would be his Shield from the bloodline.
Touche. But that one still caught me off guard. I was like, what am I hearing Shield music for? I'm like, what? I mean, the Cena one, I'm like, okay, yeah. But that was, I expected to hear someone else's music.
You're going to see him again.
Yep. But I expected to hear someone else's music after Seth Rollins' music hit. I expected to hear a different type of music after that. But that's not what we heard, is it, Princess?
I expected to hear glass hit.
I did too.
I wanted glass hitting.
That's not what we heard.
That's what I was hoping for, but all of a sudden it went dark and we got the gong. That totally surprised me too. I was like, "Oh shit, it's the Undertaker!" So that was a big shock to me too, Isaiah, was to see the Undertaker out there. So that was cool. Do the choke slam to the Rock, taking him out. Taker disappeared right after that. So that was cool. Roman hits Seth with the chair. He got distracted by Seth. Cody hits the crossroads 3 times and pins Roman Reigns and ends the 1,316-day reign. Thank Jesus. I couldn't take any more of Roman being the champion. Like, it was just getting so boring. Like, we get it, bro. Like, you're the champ. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares at this point? Like, you're hardly ever around. You show up when you want to. But then finding out that he, is still taking chemo meds and all that stuff, it makes a little bit more sense on why he has a lighter schedule, is because he's on chemo meds. So that's got to be hard on your body. You can't work a full-time schedule when you're taking chemo meds. There's no fucking way.
Yeah. Like I said,
there's
it makes
just no way.
Yeah, it makes sense on the back end when you reading those details. You're absolutely right, but you're right though. On the same hand though, like, dude, like, you've had the title since we were in the, in COVID.
COVID era.
Remember he speared, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and won the title way, way, way back then. He's held the title ever since. So you're like, man, like. But his appearances, I think it was Michael Cole had said during WrestleMania, he had 32, 36 title defenses since he's won the title. I mean, that's it, 36 in 3 years. That's like, wow.
Right. 3.5 years.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah. I'm like, my goodness. That's but again, putting it all into perspective, well, there's probably why. So, but it's a new era now.
Mm-hmm.
The story is finished.
Right. Which it's the Triple H era now of WWE. So that's what they ended WrestleMania with, and that is what they opened Raw with, was with Triple H and how it's the new era of WWE. Mm-hmm. All in all, I give WrestleMania a B+. It was a decent, but it wasn't spectacular. So I give it a B+. For WrestleMania, you want more. And it just didn't give me that. The nostalgia pops at the end were nice.
Yeah.
But we could have had that spread more out. Like you said, we could have put more into Jimmy and Jay. you know, had a little, like, Solo could have came out between the brother versus brother match to help Jimmy, and then John Cena could have came out during that match and given that match some sort of bigger oomph, some substance, some, I don't know, just better than it was. It was just so fucking disappointing, and it just irritated me so bad because I wanted that match to be so good because I love Jey Uso. I'm Team Yeet all the way.
Yeet.
Team Yeet.
Yeet.
So, opens Raw with Cody. I expected somebody to maybe come out and start a feud with Cody.
I did too.
But it was The Rock that came out. Still kind of wonder what The Rock gave Cody. The shut the fuck up chance. And I hate that the WWE freaking mutes that shit out. It's so goddamn annoying. Just let it go. And I hope to God once they move to Netflix that they stop that shit and they just let stuff fly.
Yeah,
because
it drives me nuts too.
Like, get out of this PG era. Like, enough.
Yes.
Enough. Yeah. We need some edge. We need to get back to, you're going on Netflix. You're not going to have the Nielsen ratings anymore. You're not going to have shit holding you back. Stop being scared of being a little bit edgy. Like, we're done. We're out of the John Cena Fruity Pebbles phase. Like,
thank God.
It is what it is. We don't need to be in this PG directed at kids. Yes, wrestling, but we grew up on boobies and puppies and like bra and panties matches and like it was a different day, I guess. It was different day. So I miss a lot of the beginning of Raw. I'm not gonna lie. I was cleaning out the Versa because they were picking it up today, and I waited till the last minute to clean it out. So I missed a lot of it. Had to go back. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Dragunov. Am I saying that right?
Yep. Ilya Dragunov, NXT champion.
Okay. And so he beat Nakamura. So.
Yep. Well, they had NXT Stand and Deliver Saturday early or late morning, early afternoon.
I don't watch NXT.
Okay. Yep. So he's the NXT champion, and so we're gonna have the draft coming up in a couple weeks. So NXT was there. So there was a few of those matches where NXT talent got to mingle with main roster talent, and that was one of the first matches. Good match.
I saw that because Roxanne Perez was on too, right?
Yep.
I missed that one altogether. So Judgment Day comes out, introduces their champs. R-Truth comes out, does his R-Truth thing, pretends he's part of the Judgment Day, says that he brought the titles back to Judgment Day. Miz comes out, and then it ends up being a 3 versus 2 handicap match. But didn't Truth say it's going to be Miz, Truth, and the guy you can't see?
Yeah, the guy you can't see. And Miz is all like, are you telling me, like, you gotta talk about little Jimmy? Are you like, you're talking about there's an actual real person, right? And then Truth turns to get ready to introduce someone, and then Judgment Day just attacks him, and then that's what starts the match. And then 75% of the way into the match, all of a sudden, Cena's music hits. He runs out there, takes off his hat, throws in the crowd, puts his arm out for a tag, and all three of them get the 3 members of Judgment Day in the air for AA. They all cover them 1, 2, 3. Match over. So that nostalgia continued the next night, which is nice. And John Cena was very, very thankful and grateful that whole match. You can see at the end he was saying thank you to everybody. So it was really cool to him get another moment.
Yeah, and I heard that he wants his Hollywood schedule to slow down so we can have one more run. Is what he said recently. Shut up, Tank. There's nobody out there. It's just people walking to their homes. Nobody cares. Okay. Then there was the Indy versus Roxanne Perez, which is Roxanne Perez won.
Yep, she's the new NXT
Sami Zayn
Women's
and Gable
champion.
versus. Is she? Did she just win it this weekend?
Yep. Stand and Love. She defeated what's her name? Lyra Valkyria for the title, and because she never lost the title, she had a panic attack or something, had to go to the hospital, dropped the title, and Indy Hartwell won it in a ladder match. So they got to come full circle and face each other again, and she ended up winning. But yet she's NXT Women's Champion. So they had the two NXT champions wrestling last night, which is pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, Sami Zayn and Gable versus Imperium. Sami Zayn and Chad Gable won that one. Now I had to, like I said, I had to go back and just get the results on a lot of these because I was busy. So, Chelsea Green demands a match. They put her up against Jade, which you automatically know Jade's going to win that one. Again, it was a very short match. Hard to see if she's improved. Can't really judge Jade yet. Haven't seen enough.
Yeah, that was definitely a squash match. Chelsea Green busts into Adam Pearce's office. Is like, how could you have WrestleMania without him? Just being the Karen that she is. And Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, GM of SmackDown, and Ava, Rock's daughter, she's a GM of NXT. They were in there talking about the draft. And they're all like, hey, you know what, Chelsea, you're gonna get your moment. Head out to the ring, and we got your moment waiting for you. She's like, well, thank you. This is about time. She goes out there, and then Jade meets the kid. She's like, this is what I asked for, and then just gets destroyed in like 10 seconds. So I mean,
yeah, it was just a squash.
Yeah.
Which Jade's supposed to be on SmackDown, so it's interesting that they showcased her on Raw, but I guess it's the Raw after Mania. Give her a little bit more exposure. But give her a purpose, give her a feud, give her a feud. Give her a fucking feud. Don't bring her in and make her Goldberg again. Put her in something.
Here's what they may do, though, Princess. So I think I've heard a little bit of rumblings on someone going to be returning back from injury who is on SmackDown. And the last time we saw her on SmackDown TV, she was in the office talking to Nick Aldis, and then Jade walked in, and she kind of like did one of these to her. So maybe they're setting something up there. I don't know. I didn't forget that.
Could be.
So I know that's your favorite, Miss Flair.
Yeah, that's my absolute favorite person.
Yeah, I know you can't wait for her.
But she was at WrestleMania because I saw footage of her and Rhea when Rhea won the championship. So, so maybe she is coming back soon. Drew McIntyre came out, did a promo, calls CM Punk a prick, tells him he's a coward. Totally agree. CM Punk is a prick. Fragile Philly Brooks, you are a prick. I don't know you, but I don't like you. And as unrational as that fucking is, I don't give a shit. Because you're a fucking idiot. Wow. Your wife's fantastic, but
love AJ Lee.
Love AJ, but she married a dingus. So mid promo, Jay's music hits and interrupts Drew. So we get the 4-way match. Punk comes out, he screws Drew McIntyre, and Jey Uso gets the number 1 contendership, which I like. It's fresh, it's new, it's going to be a new feud. Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. So that's going to be fresh. It's going to be different. So that'll be nice. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And Jay getting his moment.
Now, well, no, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but will he actually get an actual clean opportunity this time?
Right.
That's what we'll have to wait and see.
Or will it be Judgment Day?
Yeah.
He's got
a couple of factors. I mean, I don't think he's done with the bloodline yet, and now Priest has still got the Judgment Day, so that's 2 sides he's got to worry about for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Did you catch Dynamite last week at all?
No, I got a little bit of a recap,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get a chance to catch it. I was in
Oh, that's right.
Blackhawk.
You were in Blackhawk. That's right. That's crazy that I was up there that night too,
Yeah.
and we didn't even know. We were just at two. We were right across the damn street from
Right
each
across
other
the street.
too.
Right across the
Literally across the street from each other, and had no idea we were there the same night. So yeah, we were in the same place at the exact same time last Wednesday, same town up in the mountains, which is like an hour away
It
from
is.
where we live.
That's it. Just an hour.
And yes, Storms, it's where the casinos are. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. No more casino for me. That was the agreement with buying my car. No more casino for me. But yeah, we had no idea. So I did win when we went back up there the next night though.
Oh, there you
So
go.
I did win. So that was good. Definitely the highlight of the Dynamite was Will Hobbs versus Will Ospreay. It was a fantastic match. Will Ospreay made Will Hobbs look like a badass. Anybody that goes up against Will Ospreay that looks good. Will Ospreay is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you caught his match against Takeshita, but that
Yes.
match was fucking amazing. And it made me like Takeshita. Like I never really liked Takeshita before, but that match made me like Takeshita.
That was a great match.
But it's just you put Will Ospreay in the ring with anybody, and it's just like it's gold. It's just phenomenal. It's a beautiful work of art. Will Ospreay is phenomenal. Triple H is a fucking moron for letting that one pass up. I just have to say that was stupid. He tried to blow it off over WrestleMania weekend because for some strange reason during WrestleMania weekend, WWE just wanted to take every shot that they possibly could at AEW. The CM Punk interview is bullshit. It's so fucking one-sided and his little goddamn fairy tale that I'm really glad that they're releasing the footage tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So if you don't normally watch Dynamite, they're releasing the footage of him and Jack Perry.
Oh man! Oh, I gotta watch that.
And what happened backstage. That's what they're advertising at least. So we'll see. Gosh, Phil gets me fired up.
You're not surprised. I know you're not surprised it was one-sided.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. He was going to make himself look good. He contradicted everything he fucking said while he was in AEW. So that was the funniest part about it. He's just fuck that guy. So I'm excited to see the footage tomorrow night. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of mixed bag about it. Like, oh, it's in bad taste. Oh, it's just a fuck you to CM Punk. Who cares? Let people see the footage. Let people make their own decision. If CM Punk is going to put it out there, it's time to just put it out there. Let everybody see what happened. So I'm all for it. Plus, I want to see it. So, Trent Beretta turned on Orange Cassidy on Wednesday after they lost to the Young Bucks.
I heard about that.
So they lost to the Young Bucks, and which was a fantastic match, absolutely fantastic match. I'm a Bucks fan, so I'm a little bit biased, and I think a lot of their matches are really good. I don't think this was the match with the horrible BTE trigger, but there was one, I don't know if it was this week or the week before, they went to go do the BTE trigger, and it was just horrible. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. They miffed it. Nick Jackson miffed it, or Nicholas Jackson did. And it was just, it was laughable. And then Trent hit Orange Cassidy with a flying knee. Thunder Rosa versus Mariah May was a really good match. Really, really physical. Mariah May is talented. She's really talented. Thunder Rosa did get the win. She is the number one contender for Toni Storm's title. So, and Timeless Toni Storm is just a great character. Fucking hilarious. Then we had the contract signing, which versus Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland, which was great.
That was physical.
Samoa Joe dropped the Diddy line, said something about staying too long at Diddy parties or something like that. Which, yeah, that was pretty funny. You knew somebody was going to do it. I figured it would have been Max Caster, but it wasn't. So, they ended up getting into a brawl. Joe hits Swerve with a hand wrapped in a chain. Swerve gets back up and smiles at Joe. Joe puts Swerve through a table, and Swerve ends up signing that contract in blood. So Swerve Strickland versus Samoa Joe is going to be a fantastic, fantastic fucking match. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm really hoping Swerve Strickland walks out the champion. It's definitely a good time to put it on him. I've always felt like Samoa Joe is definitely a more of a transitional champion, and I don't think he'll be champion in the long run. So it would be good to take it off of Swerve, to take it off of him. Someone fresh, someone new. So that'll be good. And as much as I don't like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whatever the hell he goes by these days, I am looking forward to the match versus him and Will Ospreay, because he does put on good matches, and Will Ospreay puts on phenomenal matches. So that is going to be a really good match. And if it's not, I'm going to be pissed, because if it ends up like Jimmy and Jay, I'm not going to be happy. That's all I got to say, because this better be a good fucking match, because there's too talented not to make it a good fucking match. So I'm going to be pissed if it's not a good fucking match.
Yeah. Well, and to your point earlier,
So,
when we were talking about Sami Zayn, like, Bryan Danielson's always, I mean, he's had talent. Like, we can't argue about what he can do inside the squared circle, but there's just something that, like, when we talk about guys like, Rock and Austin and Shawn Michaels, like, those guys can do it inside the square circle, but they have something else that takes them over the top. I just never got that from Bryan Danielson. He's technical in the ring, knows his stuff there. Jericho, all those guys have that stuff. Like, I'm not gonna question his talent, but like when you watch AEW, like a Swerve Strickland, and God bless Swerve, because I love seeing him, Toni Storm's character now, like where those two came from, and to see where they are at now and how they're being utilized and how they've been able to grow their character. That's what you love to see. I wonder what was going on in WWE square circle to where they couldn't get that going, but love to see where those guys have taken their characters and been able to blossom, because it's been great to see. But like, you just
absolutely.
What'll help though is, like I said, you got Will Ospreay, great, phenomenal talent, and maybe those two can have some good chemistry, and then that would, just as long as you have a good match. But Will Ospreay is going to be the one I think that would probably take it to that next level, because we know what Bryan Danielson is at this point. It's going to be solid inside the squared circle, but like, is he the guy? Like, is he that Shawn Michaels that can say, okay, we're going to take it here? In my watching of Bryan Danielson over his entire career, I've never gathered that from him. Even when he had the whole yes movement and all that, I'm like, yeah, it was kind of fun, I guess, but like, I was like, is everyone doing yes for this guy? I'm like, he's solid. I mean, I hate to be cliche, but Stephanie McMahon and Triple H used to all say you're a B+ player, and I'm like, yeah, he kind of is. I'm like, he's not up there with Reigns and all these other guys. I'm like, but solid inside the ropes. But hopefully, if AEW's been watching, like, you can't fumble this type of stuff. Like, you got to capitalize. And so Will Ospreay is like fire. So
yeah,
put on a good.
He has
match.
To win.
Give it the time that it deserves. and have these guys just like go at it and take it to the next heights. Like learn from what WWE didn't do in certain matches that should have been 5-star. That whole card for WrestleMania should have been. I can understand having a gimmick match here and there. It's Philadelphia, ECW, Paul Heyman, all that stuff, but there were literally like 3 or 4 matches each day that were all like, well, that wasn't like a 5-star match. Like I could have watched that on Raw last week. It's a wrestle fucking mania. Like these matches need to be fucking fire, and so we didn't get some of that from WrestleMania. So if you're AEW, like, all right, this match is gonna pop, and so hopefully they're paying attention and they can execute.
Agreed. Sorry, there was another dog walking outside. They have to give the match to Will Ospreay. That's my opinion at Dynasty. They have to give the match to Will Ospreay. I just think that's the way to go. You brought up Jericho, and there's this whole storyline going on with him and Hook, and it's just like, Jericho, go away. Just fade off into the sunset, ride on your little coattails, just bye-bye. Like, do you have to be on Dynamite every fucking week? Do they have to find something for you to do every fucking week? Do you really have to have a 30-second meaningless promo every fucking week? Just go away, bro. Remember when Tyler used to call him the booger?
Yeah.
That's what he used to refer to him as. Shit was hilarious.
Jericho's just hanging on just because he can. I mean, what's going on with the Ayatollah rock and roll over there?
Well, now he's back to Lionheart Chris Jericho.
Oh, that's right.
And he's gonna mentor Hook, I guess. I don't get it. It is what it is, I guess. We'll see.
Are we a Lionheart Jericho fan, Princess?
No.
Just want to make sure.
Like when
he just made the list. He just made the list another one that Jess doesn't like. We'll put him on
the list of the princess.
Yeah, the list of the princess.
Oh shit. Well, damn, that is WrestleMania and Raw. I didn't catch Collision because I was watching WrestleMania and I forgot to go back and watch it. So that's all I got, man.
2 quick questions I have for you.
Yes.
On the AEW front, because you'll have to help me with it, because this is coming from the rumor mill. Number 1, Matt Hardy's contract is up. He's a free agent, I hear.
He is a free agent, yes.
Jeff Hardy is not. So could we potentially see Matt maybe coming back home?
Don't care.
No, you're okay with deleting Matt Hardy.
I'm okay with deleting Matt Hardy. He's no big loss. He's bleh. He's always been the bleh Hardy to me. I've always been a Jeff girl.
I agree.
Give me Jeff.
I agree. All right. And then my last one is MJF. Words on the street.
I want him back.
He's put pen to paper he's put pen on paper with Trips is what I'm hearing from the rumor mill.
See, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard anything about his contract. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be interesting to see if he goes back to AEW or if he does end up in WWE. I think he's been real hush-hush on that. And not a lot has been coming out about it. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. If I would like to see him back in AEW and finish the storyline with Adam Cole. Because right now the Undisputed Kingdom makes no fucking sense without MJF. And it's just a dumb fucking storyline in my opinion, and I don't like it. It needs MJF to give it substance because that's what brought it to life. So does MJF come back at Dynasty and screw Samoa Joe out of the title? I mean, that could be a potential too, is that we see MJF back at Dynasty. But he was nursing a legit injury. So it just also depends on how his injury is healing. Because he was legitimately hurt. I could see Wardlow turning on them more than them turning on Wardlow, Isaiah. Just because I think Wardlow might get sick of being everybody's bitch.
Yeah, what's up with that? Why is he been everyone's bitch for the last couple months? Like, what's going on with that? Wardlow.
He's always everybody's bitch, is what it seems like. He's always just everybody's enforcer. He just goes and does whatever he's told.
He deserves better than that.
Because it was the same with MJF.
He kind of, I see Batista in him. Like, get him out of the damn evolution and have him just wreak havoc. Like, why is he got to be everyone's like just enforcer? I'm like, stop it. Stop with the enforcer crap. Let Wardlow go out there, wreak havoc, and that guy. He should be someone that should have a world title over his shoulder for a long reign, in my opinion. I mean, he's that kind of talent.
He's got the talent for it. He's got the talent for it.
I personally agree with you on the MJF. I right now I don't want him in WWE because I don't know if WWE would handle him properly. I
don't think they would.
I've got faith in Triple H, but they've got so much talent right now. I think the right move.
Well, and they would water him down.
Yeah, I mean, he would be a big pop, but then it's like, okay, what happens after that pop? So I just think going back to AEW would be a great move for MJF. Finish your story, continue to wreak havoc, dominate in there. Now, if down the line he maybe want to think about it, sure, but I don't. Coming to WWE, if I'm MJF, I'm telling him like, nah, man, handle AEW. You got so much going on over there. Finish your story out there. You got so much unfinished business and so much more to succeed in AEW. Don't come to WWE. So they may have the Bucks. They may talk about this and other, but I think staying in AEW would be the best move for him. And I love MJF.
Yeah,
but I
don't think it would be a good idea to go to WWE. I just don't see a place for him. They're just gonna water him down, and I don't want to see him watered down. I like MJF who he is. I like who he is in AEW. I like the asshole. I like, I love the asshole. It's just, he's a great fucking character.
He is.
And I don't want to see him watered down.
Yeah, he's a damn good. There could be some story. I mean, I can see if you're a WWE on the WWE side, there's some storylines you can make with them. I mean, take all the AEW talent that came over. There's some big guns. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk when he gets healthy. I mean, there's some ways you can go with them. But like I said, to water down. Like until WWE's like, we gotta stop this PG crap. I mean, Fruity Pebble John Cena's not coming through that door. Let's change over. Now, if they start to get a little bit more edgy, which I think they're starting to get there, we might be able to have a different conversation. But that time isn't right now. So if I'm MJF, go back to AEW, continue to wreak havoc, do your thing over there, continue to dominate, and then keep your eyes on WWE. If they start to get rid of that PG crap and start to turn up the edge a little bit more, now we might be able to have a conversation. But until then, stay where you're at.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Totally agree. What else you got for me?
I think that's probably about it. I got my start.
All right.
Loving wrestling. Jess, I think I told you this. Back in 1996, 97, there was a girl that sat across from me. Here. There was a girl that sat across from me in middle school, and she kept talking about sucking and too sweet and all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this girl talking about? And she's like, you got to watch on Mondays. And back then, it was the Monday Night Wars. You had WCW Nitro and all that. So I was initially a WCW guy. Disco Inferno,
me too.
And Juventud Guerrera, La Parca, Young Rey Mysterio.
NWO for me.
NWO, all those guys. I mean, that's what all I was about. And then Harlem Heat, Diamond Dallas Page. And then all of a sudden, I had a couple other friends that were telling me, oh, if you smell and glass showers, what are you guys talking about? I was like, I'm already watching. I've never heard of that before. It's like, oh no, you're watching the wrong Monday night program. You need to watch this one. And I turn over and I see this guy wearing these silk suits and these glasses, and the guy flipping off the camera and sending his boss. But the girl that got me started was a girl named Eve Torres, who was in that class with me back in 7th, 8th grade. So I got introduced.
Yep.
She was cute back then. So I was like, okay, this girl's liking this. I'll go and watch. Maybe I can get a chance. But that's where my wrestling journey started. It was because of her. And lo and behold, we all know
Eve Torres.
And we all know about Eve. Several times she held the Divas Championship and stuff like that in her background. So
and he's not bullshitting. He
Yep,
went to school with her. She grew up here.
Yep. So that's where my start. So Eve, shout out. And then you, Jess, have been able to help carry that energy, because I don't get a chance to talk a lot of wrestling with a lot of people, but you're one of the few people that knows what the hell you're talking about. So I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to converse wrestling with you, because you're someone that knows what the hell you're talking about. Very versatile, very knowledgeable, unbiased. Phil, hope you're watching. Unbiased. But you're fucking awesome. 20 plus years and counting. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I can't wait to talk more wrestling with you down the line.
Absolutely. So he is actually going to be on my show once a month. On the first Tuesday of every month, the prince is going to join the princess, and we're going to have the prince and princess go over wrestling. So he is going to be a standing guest on the show. So look forward to more. We're at about an hour and a half, so I think it's about time to call it a night. You're not really on X. If you want to give out your socials, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Totally up to you.
Absolutely. On Instagram at EL the Prince. That's ELTHAPRINCE. Yeah, I mean, hit me up. I'm on there all the time, and poet, author, wrestling fan, obviously.
Published author.
Published author.
Published author of some amazing poetry.
Two-time
published author.
Sorry, Booker T. Two-time published author.
That's right. Of some amazing poetry. He's got some good shit out there, guys. He's very, very talented. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I've had a blast as usual. We're going to have to get together for dinner here pretty soon, or lunch, whichever one we are going to do. You guys can find me on X at Princess Skywalker 10. Like, subscribe, share, all of the above. Thanks for joining us tonight. I will see you next week for episode 4. We're going to have the ever controversial DJ Storms on the show next week. And then after that, after my show on Tuesday, I'm going to be on his show on Thursday, and we're going to be going over the Dynasty predictions. So lots to come, lots more guests coming down the line. We're going to have Marcus on the show in a few weeks, so that'll be awesome. Marcus Gray, fantastic. We got Justin Hollis set up for a couple weeks down the line too, so Uncle Justin's going to come talk some wrestling with us. So we've got some very good guests coming up here pretty soon. Then I'll be taking a break because I'm going to Vegas. Woo woo. And then the week after that, we are going to have EL the Prince back on the show, going over wrestling again. So we got a damn good month here for the show.
Fire.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me. I'm super excited to have you on next time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I will see you all later. Peace out. Thank you.
Thanks, Princess.
Bye.